When you first purchase an awning, you will have everything you need, and in the awning bag is the following. We have the actual awning, the curtains, the bag, the draft skirt, the fix-ons which your poles attached to, and the instructions. And in the frame bag you'll have the frame and the pegs with a few extra spare pegging rubbers and a peg puller. Once you've actually laid the carpet down on the floor to protect your awning when erecting, the next job is to put the wheel arch and the draft skirt onto the caravan. Now pegging the draft skirt down, the perfect scenario is to put the carpet on top of the draft skirt. So if you follow me down here, and now we can lay the carpet on the draft skirt. I'm now placing the poles in the position they need to be for when I put the awning up. It'll be a lot easier. All the roof poles are identical. None of the poles are colour coded. We think it's one of the easiest frames you can actually put up. If a pole's got a hook on it, it has to be a roof pole. And the three main roof poles are identical, so you can't mix them up. The centre leg is the one with the centre cross on it, and the outside legs, the corners are actually marked left and right, so it's very, very easy to erect. My one tip I can give you, if I show you down here, is the centre leg. If you actually put the cross members in now, at this point, to make a small letter T, this will make an awning easier to put up, and I will show you later why that is. The next tip I can give you is to spray some Aquatex onto the actual awning rail. This actually lubricates the rail and makes sliding the awning around a lot easier. The whole awning is impregnated with this, so we're not damaging the awning whatsoever. Now we have to feed the beading into the caravan rail. Find the caravan opening on the channel and start sliding. Sometimes you find this job a lot easier if someone helps guide it through as someone pulls it round. Now we've got the awning actually on the caravan and the canvas is centralised evenly on both sides. The next task is to put onto the fix-on blocks that go onto the internal rail, and these are the fix-ons that the roof poles connect to. The fix-ons are very easy to fit. We open up the clamp, find the awning profile and lock into position. Right, the same procedure for the middle one. We open up the clamp, find the middle of the awning and clamp it onto the profile. The ideal position, the end panel in the roof, if you folded it in half, that's roughly where it needs to go. But on this particular caravan, I'm just going to raise it a little bit further up. And on the front end of the caravan, it's the same position. As this is a 975, it has intermediate roof poles, so they go in between the outside and the middle one. Now for the tip that I suggested earlier. Because I've made a letter T with the centre leg and the cross members, I now put the spike into the eyelet, connect the leg up, and now I can work on the rest of the awning. Now the next pole is the roof pole. Okay, we now place the hook into the fix-on, and then we connect to the middle pole, and we will tension to the max while it's down nice and low. It has a bayonet fitting, which is like a light bulb, into the leg, twist so it can't fall on your head, and now tension this pole as much as you can while it's at this level. Now we're going to move on to the outside legs. Either left or right, makes no difference. I'm going to go to my left. And at this point now, because I've got my legs and roof poles in the right position, all I need to do is bend down and insert the poles. Tension slightly. The same procedure, insert the bayonet fit in, twist, and now tension. We do the same as we did on the left. Slightly tension. Now that the awning is semi-erected, it's the ideal time now to do the canopy poles outside while it's nice and low and that we can reach, so no step or ladder is required. First place to start are with the short canopy poles. There are 3 of them, one is slightly longer than the other. The longer one is for the centre. So we now place the canopy poles into the centre cross. Moving over to the right. The canopy pole, and ensuring that the clamp is always going to be away from the canvas. And we now do the same on the left hand side. Inserting the pole, again making sure the clamp is going to be away from the canvas, that's at the bottom. The last 2 remaining poles on the canopy are the ones that go through the sleeve. At this point, do not tension. The first pole to go over dome shape first, the second flat edge first, so the 2 flat ends end up together. Then the eyelet here. And at this point, you can now tension up the middle canopy pole. Now the reason we can actually tension up this pole is because the only pole that we've actually tensioned up in the awning at the moment is the middle main roof pole. So this one now could be tensioned because it's against that main roof pole. The next task is to tension up all the inside poles. But before we do that, we must make sure that all the zips are fully closed to being able to have the awning in the right position. Now it's time to tension up all the rest poles. The first pole I will start with is the middle leg, and we move down to the bottom of the awning where the regulator tab is, which is a piece of material with 3 holes. This regulator tab here, as you say, has got 3 holes. We're on nice level ground, so I'm going to use the middle hole on all the regulator tabs on this awning. If you're on a pitch that's actually not level, and it's higher at one end than the other, then you would actually use all 3 holes. You would use the high hole at one end, the middle one in the middle, and the lower one at the other end, so you still get your awning nice and straight along the front. The spike of the foot goes into the hole, ensuring that the straight edge is against the actual material of the regulator tab. Once it's in place, we need to tension up the leg. So we'll raise the awning up. I actually stand on the leg itself and tension and lock into position. Once we've done the middle leg, it's now the outside legs. It makes no difference whether it's left or right, it's your choice. Again, the same procedure, regulator tab, the shoe to go to the white regulator tab, spike in the bottom, and then tension. Ensuring that the clamps are always away from the canvas. The same on the right hand side. Now don't be afraid to over tension that awning. the more tension you put on it, the better the awning will look and the longer it will last. The hole that I've used on those regulator tabs, when I take the awning down, the hole that I use will become oblong shaped because I put a lot of tension on it. That's the right thing. The more tension, the better the awning will look. The next thing is to tension up all the other poles. A big tip here I can give you: before you tension up any awning, all your panels have to be zipped in. But the little trick is to undo the panel slightly around the corners like this. This releases the canvas, the material, and it's a lot easier to tension up this panel now. Once that pole has been tensioned, zip the panel up and move on to the next panel. Unzip the panel to release the pressure. And tension pole. Once that's completed, zip the panel up and do the same on the other two remaining panels. To make your life easier, you could actually use a Hercules twin to tension up any poles. It's an ideal tool and it makes life a lot easier when doing and tensioning up the framework yourself. Let me show you how. We unzip the panel as we do. You place the Hercules onto the thinner pole, place the arm into the groove of the clamp, release the pole and just push the handle towards the middle and then lock. Using the Hercules tools on the roof poles are a thicker diameter than all the rest of our poles. So the Hercules twin fits these poles, but a slight modification has to be done on the tool by pushing off the bottom rubber, turning the red block around and pushing the rubber back onto the red block. It has given me a bigger diameter to work with for the thicker roof poles. The remaining poles we need to actually tension now are the remaining of the canopy poles, and we need to place the two auxiliary extra poles in the main unit. We've already tensioned up the middle roof pole of the canopy. All we left to do are the two outside ones. The last two remaining poles are the intermediate roof poles. Just hook the poles into the fix-on and then clamp them to the front poles. Ensuring the material is behind the poles and the clamps so it protects the canvas, and then tension up to the pole, pushing this pole into the seam. And the last remaining pole the same as the previous pole. When pegging the awning, the first thing I do is lay all the pegs out in the rough position where I need to be. And also, a top tip I'll give you here: before you actually start pegging, ensure that all the zips are fully closed. Otherwise, if you don't do that, when you peg the awning down and then you go to open the door, you will find that you won't be able to close them all the way down because you've pegged it and you're pulling all on the zips. I'm going to start pegging here on the right hand side of the awning. As I said, it makes no difference right or left. While I'm at this position, I will do the 3 pegs that are here. The first one behind the caravan, and the next 2 as I'm here. Ensuring wherever there's a zip, always cross the rubbers over. Now I'm at the front, I get hold of the leg, pulling it into this seam down here, and while it's in the right position, put a peg through the shoe so it can't move, and then peg the rubber here at the front. By doing this now, when I look down the side here, I've got a perfect straight line for the rest of the pegs. By pushing the canvas away from the peg, you hit missing the mallet with the canvas. Exactly the same procedure as the other side. While I'm in here, these two. Then we move to the front, pull the leg into the seam, peg the shoe into the ground so it can't move. Again, give me a perfect straight line to do the rest of the pegging. If we pull the middle leg in line with the two outside legs, so you got a nice straight line. These four pegging rubbers are the next. Because there's zips here, always cross over. It's very simple to just use one peg here, but I find it's better to actually use two in the middle. Again, always crossing where there's a zip. I'm going to be using this door on this particular awning. For this exercise, as this is the door, the pegging rubber by the bottom of the door will be pegged at a slight angle, like this, ensuring when the door is opened, and the door is rolled back, it's still keeping that panel nice and tight. The last two pegs are the ones on the triangular wing that lay next to your caravan. We now lift up the carpet, push back the draft skirt and peg. Now relaying the carpet over the triangle wing. The same the other side. Laying the carpet back over. Now all the pegging is done, that just leaves me now to dress up the awning on the inside by hanging the curtains, and then we're fit to go. You have to put these little tiny suitcases onto a curtain track, and once they're on, you leave them on. So you only do the job once. The clip itself is already open. All we need to do is to place it over the rail and just push the two plastic pieces together. Very, very simple. Now for the next stage. These little wheels are supplied, and these wheels are to go into the eyelets of the curtains. Now here you have a choice which way you would like the print of the curtain. Would you like it to face outside the awning or on the inside? On this occasion, I'm actually going to put the pattern side facing outside, so when looking inside the awning it looks nice. With the wheel itself, you just push into the eyelet of the curtain, and you do this all the way along. Again, you only do this job once you've decided which way you'd like to have the print. All you need to do the next time when erecting the awning is to clip them into the clips that you just put onto the actual awning. You go to the clips and just lock them into place. Now all the curtain hooks are on and all the curtains are hanging up. It's just for the curtain tiebacks to be fitted. Each curtain tieback has actually got press studs. By the side of each window there are little tiny black tabs that are sewn in. We just push the press stud in the black tab, hold the curtain around, and you've got your curtain. One of the most common questions I've ever asked is actually how do you hold the curtains back to the side when you draw the curtains. On the front you don't need to, because the front of the awning is nice and straight and the curtains hang flush with the actual front of the awning, as you can see here. But on the side of the awning you can see that the curtains are away from the wall and there's a big gap between. Now these come standard with all our awnings, a bit like knicker elastic, a toggle on each end, and the toggle goes into the little black tie where the curtain ties are. If you follow me down here and I will show you, there's a hole in the black tie. You push the toggle into that hole, moving across the awning to the black tie on the opposite side, pushing the toggle into the hole. This now holds the curtains back to the side of the awning. During the day, the elastic can actually stay onto the awning. You don't have to keep taking that on and off. All you need to do is bring the curtain from behind the elastic and just draw as normal. As you can see, you can leave this in place. You don't have to keep taking it on and off. With all Isabella awnings, what comes standard with all full awnings is a veranda pole. Now a veranda pole is designed that it goes from leg to leg, and you can drop the front panel over the pole to protect it. But I also said one of the reasons we use these curtain clips is for another reason, and it's just for this. When we actually drop the front down with the curtains in it, it is impossible for these curtains to fall out from the rail, so they stay in place. So when you do drop the panel down, they're not laying on the floor. So now to place the veranda pole, again ensuring that the material is behind to protect the canvas. As you can see, the curtains are still on the rail. Also, leaving the curtains in place when dropping the panel down, you're protecting the window away from the pole. One of the common questions I've actually always asked is, what is this pocket for at the back of the awning? That is for the veranda pole, for when you want to drop the side panel down. It's the same procedure as you would do at the front. You clamp this to the front leg, and this pocket now is used, if we take the clamp off, and just use the nut and the bolt into this eyelet, and now we can unzip the panel so the side panel will drape over the actual veranda pole. Voila! And now for the door ties. The door ties aren't actually on the awning. The reason we don't put the door ties on the awning, because if you don't not using the door, you don't want a black tie hanging down. So we only put these on the doors that we're actually going to use. And on this one it's going to be the left hand side door at the front. These black ties clip on just with a press stud onto a shorter black tie that's actually already sewn onto the awning. There's two on each door. Then all that's left to do is to open the door, roll the door up, the door tie then wraps around the door to the black tape on the outside of the awning. And because I put the pegging point at the bottom on this one at an angle, it's still pulling the door nice and tight, so I've got still a nice taut front of an awning. Now to roll up the window to reveal the mosquito net. On this bright sunny day, that's the first thing you love to do. Same procedure as the door ties. Clip these ties onto the ones already sewn onto the awning. Unzip the window from along the bottom and the sides, and then roll up the window.